What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mac Rome. And yes, we're back. We're new with a new podcast studio, a new computer, and a new episode of Liquid Politics with Mac Rome. So thank you guys for tuning in. Let's get straight down to business. We all saw what just happened with Charlie Kirk. He was assassinated, killed in front of thousands of his supporters. My condolences to his family. Charlie Kirk was a very controversial and racist figure, if you ask me. His podcast and his debate style often exaggerated and exploited Black stereotypes. The proof is in the pudding. All of his podcasts still exist on the internet, so you guys can watch them for yourself if you think I'm exaggerating. What happened, though, what this show is going to be about today is that once Charlie Kirk was assassinated, it took the FBI a couple of days. As a matter of fact, the FBI never found the suspect. They did some Keystone Cop type stuff. I'm going to start calling the director of the FBI Keystone Cash, because they arrested not one wrong suspect, but two wrong suspects. They never arrested the real killer. The real killer happened to be an independent, non-party affiliated voter who hadn't voted in a while, but both of his parents come from a strong, mega-leaning Republican family. So does his grandmother. She said nobody in the family is a Democrat, including Tyler Robinson, the young man who turned himself in. He is actually a Groyper. He follows someone we call, or someone named Nick Fuentes. I'm pretty sure you guys are pretty familiar with Nick Fuentes. That's the same Nick Fuentes who had dinner with Donald Trump along with Kanye West. Anyway, Tyler Robinson was following Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes and his followers, which are called Groypers, they don't like Turning Point USA or Charlie Kirk very much. As a matter of fact, they've been waging a war against Turning Point and Charlie Kirk for the last several months. And that is where the rhetoric and the violent atmosphere comes from. It doesn't come from the left or Democrats or even Black people or trans people. Those are some of the groups that were blamed this week before Tyler Robinson turned himself in. And because the FBI couldn't do a good job finding the suspect, all that room for speculation was out there. That vacuum was filled with Donald Trump making an announcement from the Oval Office. He said he was waging war against the left and the radical woke Democrats. Woke Democrats didn't have anything to do with this. The radical left didn't have anything to do with this. So let's get into some videos, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into the thick of the show. Once again, welcome to Liquid Politics with Mac Rome. I am your host, Mac Rome. It's good to be with you again. Let's get this show started. Now, this is my first week back, so there's a lot of bells and whistles and new buttons that I have here, and I haven't quite figured out how to work them, so please bear with me.
This is truly unfucking believable. The shooter, Tyler Robinson, it's turning out as all this information is dripping out from everywhere. This guy was a Groyper. Unfamiliar with the term? So was I. But this is the group of people that are far alt-right activists, white supremacists that align with Nick Fuentes. This is his group. And we all know what he is and what he's considered. And if you don't, well, it's the same name that we called a bunch of Germans in the late 1930s and early 1940s. So that's what this guy was. And he had just been radicalized by this group. The engravings on his shell casings are deep in the social media of this Groyper group of Nick Fuentes. And the song Bella Ciao that was on one of the shell casings, that's on the Groyper playlist. And guess who these people were at war with in 2019 in the so-called Groyper Wars? Charlie Kirk. this is the person they targeted. They would show up to his college events and try and troll him and have questions preloaded to try and get him. And now we're learning that the shooter was using guns taught by his parents from a very young age, grown up by a Republican household and very conservative Trump supporters. The shooter himself, we found that he had made a donation to Trump's campaign. He even expressed to his parents his disdain for Charlie Kirk. The motive is becoming clear. And he wasn't a trans person, wasn't pro-transgender, or pro-tranny as Nancy Mace puts it. He wasn't a far-right leftist, as Trump likes to say. He wasn't a radical left. So what do you have to say now, Trump? Now that it's one of your own. The governor of Utah was right. This is a watershed moment for this country. The question is, which direction are we going to go? Are we going to go back to civility, or is it going to go the other way? And I think MAGA needs to take a deep, long reflection and look in the mirror and see what's going on from within and make the corrections. We have to get back to civility. You guys need to stop with this radical, wild bullshit, and you cannot allow Nick Fuentes to fill the void of Charlie Kirk. Because in the world of MAGA, Charlie Kirk was considered a moderate. A lot of this is going to depend on Trump. Is he going to cool the rhetoric? Is he going to shift his tone? Is he going to shift his calls to his base? Or is he going to accelerate it? We'll see. Time will tell in the next days and weeks. Comment what you think about all this. Like, share, spread the word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, buddy, Trump ain't doing none of that stuff. None of that stuff, man. It's almost like when Tyler Robinson turned himself in, Kash Patel and Trump rolled their eyes and sighed like, oh, God, this motherfucker turned himself in. They were too happy just to continue blaming this on Democrats, black people, trans people, the woke, and the far left. That's just what it is, man. And with the Keystone Cop, Kash Patel on the case, it could have went down just like that. It could have went down just like that.
This is the only time I'm going to say this, but I'm glad Democrats aren't in charge right now, because imagine if what happened yesterday happened while a Democrat was president. Yeah, because Trump's people are running things right now. We've got Kash Patel, the FBI director, who told his 1.8 million followers on X that the suspect was in custody, only to backtrack and admit, yeah, my bad, we let that guy go. It wasn't him. Then we have the ATF led by another Trump appointee, Daniel Driscoll, who put out a bulletin claiming that the ammo had engravings tied to transgender and Antifa ideology. And that was walked back too. That's two huge stumbles in less than 24 hours. But hey, this is the government MAGA voted for. And it's not just me saying this. Even a convicted Proud Boy from January 6th called it out on X. He said, why is the head of the FBI speculating like everyone not in the know? FBI Director Kash Patel, you're the person we're supposed to get the final truth from. Stop all this clickbait shit you keep doing. It's unbecoming of the office in which you represent and only proves you are a horrible pick for this position. I don't disagree with any of that. And look, I know MAGA has been out in full force claiming that they want to engage in a war with the left, but maybe you guys should take a beat and look at the government you elected to run this investigation, because we're more than a full day out and all we've got to show for it are a few blurry stills.
Woo, that was fire right there. He was telling the truth, man. But, you know, the guy did turn himself in, so that kind of let old Kash Patel off the hook. Did you see the way Kash Patel was looking? I can't even. What the hell kind of eyeball situation did he got going on? Anyway, maybe they couldn't find the suspect because they didn't want to, or maybe it's just because they were expecting a foreigner or a black guy or a trans guy or something like that. But here's the thing. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in the white community that maybe you guys think is normal, because like I noticed now that Charlie Kirk has died, a lot of people are making this guy out to be a saint. But if you look at his podcast and clips of his debates, this guy was hell on black people, man. As a matter of fact, he died talking shit about black gangs. He was talking about black gang violence when a white man shot him. Talk about looking in the wrong direction. Man.
Okay, there is an aspect of Charlie Kirk's death that I just haven't seen anyone talking about. And first, I want to say personally, I believe his death is very sad and tragic, and that political violence doesn't benefit anyone. I believe in the long run, it really hurts all of us. What I'm seeing is a night and day difference between the way my white Christian friends are responding to this and the way my black Christian friends are responding to his assassination. My white Christian friends are treating this like the death of a martyr or a saint. And my black Christian friends are pointing out that, hey, this is sad, but the man was an unapologetically racist and very dishonest individual who did a lot of damage in the political realm. And I've seen all the clips to back up their claims, and you should too if you haven't. They really are horrible. And I wonder if it's because the way the algorithm works that white people just didn't see this side of him, or if they saw it and ignored it. But we can't ignore it. We have to call it out for what it is and to denounce it in strongest terms, because to cover racism and Christian ideology like Charlie Kirk and Trump and so many others do, it is a sin as old as this nation, and it's literally what has kept us divided as Christians and otherwise for 400 years.
Okay, by otherwise he meant racially divided. And also, brother, it's not the algorithm. It's like what I was telling you. What is normal in white society? Because it's a lot of stuff that happens and a lot of things that are said behind closed doors that is not normal in black society. All right. Now I tell a joke about it all the time. Matter of fact,
because y'all got 3 white people in here tonight, and security did search everybody. And brother, I don't want to call you out, but I was so happy when they searched his ass, right? Anybody else? You look too normal. I don't feel safe around normal white people and shit. I'm from the same town Brett's from and shit. White people walking around talking about cuz, crip walking and shit, talking shit. I'm cool with that. I'm real cool with that. I'm even cool. Stone Mountain ain't too far from here, is it? I'm cool with them. Neo-Nazis. I don't fuck with normal white people. Why? Y'all seen what happened the other day, right? Went in there and shot that school up the other day. Every time there's something crazy, some stupid, dumb, crazy shit happens, it's always a white guy. And they always interview his friends on the news. And his friends always say the same exact fucking shit. He was a normal guy. They really got scared. I can't believe this shit happened. Huh? Let a nigga do some crazy shit like that. Interview one of his friends. I could have told you that nigga was crazy. Huh? Did that nigga...
okay, like I was saying, I tell a joke about it all the time. Sometimes y'all be coming from way out in left field and we just don't know what the heck it is. But apparently it's normal. All right, before we get out of here, there's one more guy I want you to listen to. And like I said, man, we don't know what's normal in white society, but there is one pattern that we notice. Whenever some stuff happens that you guys really don't like, really hate, something that really hurts you, you blame black people for it instead of the real people who did it.
So white people, let's talk. I learned that yesterday a number of HBCUs in the South, the Southeast, and the East Coast had to shut down due to threats of violence against them. Apparently, this was related to the violence that happened on Wednesday in Utah. And so I'm left wondering once again why violence that occurred in a completely different state that had absolutely nothing to do with anyone from the black community is now resulting in threats once again towards the black community. So white people, as we deal with all these issues of gun violence that are plaguing our communities, perhaps we could just leave black people the hell alone. I hope this helps.
Well, thank you, brother. That did help. That helped a lot. And I hope this show helped a lot of you guys. My name is Mac Rome. I have been your host. This is Liquid Politics with Mac Rome. This has been our first episode since modeling our podcast studio. I thank you for joining us, and I hope you join us again. Peace. I'm outro. And please like and subscribe on my YouTube channel, Tyrone Thompson, 3793.